This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Good evening and welcome to this very special evening. Tonight we have the great honor to hear from Rabbi Glatstein Shlita. We'll be speaking about his amazing sefer, his amazing book called The Darkness and the Dawn, put out by Art Scroll. Everyone should please share the link right now. They can watch right now. Your friends, family. And the link is, they can watch right now on TorahAnytime.com/Chazak Live, TorahAnytime.com/Chazak Live, or they can call in at 718-298-2077, extension 46. Again, 718-298-2077, extension 46. We'll be starting momentarily. Again, everyone's reminded they can order the sefer, the book. The Rabbi Glatstein is going to be giving us some words about this evening. The Rabbi Glatstein's an amazing new sefer is talking about the 3 weeks, powerful, amazing sefer, very popular sefer, popular book. You can order it right now on artscroll.com or rabbidg.com. There's actually a very special promo code for free shipping. It's called Dawn Free, DAWANFREE, and you will get free shipping. Again, everyone is reminded, purchase the sefer, the book right now while you still remember, at artscroll.com or rabbidg.com, and you can get free shipping with the promo code if you use the promo code Dawn Free, DAWANFREE. We are here on behalf of the Chazak organization and Chickens for Shabbos. As you know, the Chazak organization organizes amazing events in Shiur like tonight, in person and virtually, that inspire thousands of people throughout the world, throughout the year. And Chazak's main mission to help educate Jewish public school students through after school and Sunday school programs in over 15 different locations, and with the ultimate goal of hopefully helping them transfer to yeshiva. Chazak has a special division called Public School to Yeshiva Division, which has helped transfer over 1,200 children over the last 5 years from public school to yeshiva. Someone watching right now, someone knows someone who has children in public school to transfer to yeshiva, reach out to Chazak right now. Email us at psty@chazak.org, psty@chazaq.org. Everyone is reminded about the great work of Chickens for Shabbos, tremendous organization which helps feed the families of agunos, women who can't get a divorce, grushos, divorcees, loves malam, teachers of Torah like Rabbi. Everyone should support them right now. It will be a tremendous chos, a merit for you and your family. Donate right now at chickensforshabbos.com. It is our great honor to call upon Rabbi Glatstein.
Bruchim Abayim, welcome everyone. This is a very special edition of a Chazak event, tonight's event, The Darkness and the Dawn. Now, the darkness, of course, is about the darkness of the 3 weeks and the time of the Churban and Tisha B'Av and the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. And the dawn is the fact that latent in this time of the year is really the seeds of the rebuilding of the Beis HaMikdash and the Malchus Beis David. As we've said many times, Shavas B'Tammuz is the day of the conception of Oyved. Tisha B'Av is the birth of Mashiach. Asar B'Teves is the conception of Mashiach. Tonight's event is brought to you and hosted by Chazak. I want to thank my dear friends, Rav Ilan Meirav, Rav Yaniv Meirav, Rabbi Abaf, for hosting tonight's event. Chazak does incredible work for Klal Yisrael, especially in the area of enrolling public school students in yeshivas. This is mamish hatzalas nefashos. There's no greater zechus than to be matzil nefesh achas miYisrael. Whatever you could do to show your support to Chazak, tavei aleichem bracha. Now, this event is also sponsored by Chickens for Shabbos. Go to the Yad Eliezer site and please hit the icon for Agunas Gushas Malamdim, and you could support those in Klal Yisrael who need it most, those who are really dependent on the chesed of Klal Yisrael, those who we have to support, because without our Rabbeim, without our Malamdim, there would be no future generation. Now, this is a little bit of an unusual venue for me, as I'm about to go to the airport, and we're headed to France. And you say, well, why in the world would you go to France? Yeah, a lot of people ask me that question. But I've been thinking about this for many, many months. Firstly, I have the unique distinction, along with the rest of Klal Yisrael, that I am a descendant of Rashi. So even though I like to let people know about my yichus, but I don't feel that I'm boasting, because this is something that we all share in common, at least Ashkenazim. So I always heard from my grandfather, we come from Rashi, it may be from David. And Rashi is Rabban ve'avihem shel Yisrael. He's the Rebbe and the father of the Jewish people. And I read in the Chidah of the great opportunities and spiritual power of being at Rashi's gravesite. And while we're there, we're going to be in Ramarupt, and we're going to visit Rabbeinu Tam, who the Moed Yehuda says was the Rav of all the Rabbanim, and the Ri Hazaken, who the Am Shel Shomer says in the name of the Rosh, together with the Rabbeinu Tam, was the greatest of all the Rishonim. And this will help us connect with our heritage, with the times of the Crusades, many of the kinnos that we're going to read about on Tisha B'Av, talk about the Crusade. As the kinnos mentioned, we cannot mourn the Crusades any other day but Tisha B'Av. So what could be a better way to prepare for the Zman of Churban than to go to France, to Troyes, to Troyes, to Ramarupt, to the south, to Provence, to the kever of the Ravid. So I hope you mispalel that we should have a safe trip and that we should be successful, and hopefully you could follow some of the clips to some of the great luminaries of all time, and we'll have you in mind as well for your health and success. Now, the tonight's event is in honor of the Sefer, The Darkness and the Dawn. So you say, well, I need to get this book. Yeah, that's, of course you do. But you say you want to get free shipping. So that's what we're here to tell you. The promo code is Dawn Free. Dawn Free. Get your book now. Free shipping. There's a lot of interesting material about the Spanish Inquisition, about the Chmielnicki pogroms, about COVID-19 and its connection, or lack thereof, to Tisha B'Av. And now I would like to share with you a few thoughts. I recently did an interview with Headlines. We spoke about the great dilemma in the Warsaw Ghetto, the great court case of Menachem Zemba, Rav Shimshon Stockhammer, and Rav David Kahana Shapiro. And that was a major topic, and there's information in this book that my grandfather saw firsthand. He was a lookout for Rav Menachem Zemba during the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. There's information about what Rav Menachem Zemba had, what the Warsaw Ghetto was like, and I'm just a humble reporter giving over what I heard from Zikni Moiri, Hara Mordechai Leib Glatstein, Zechatzak Lavracha, and we're very humbled and we're very touched that we're able to bring to the greater public a little bit of the greatness and the spiritual heroism of our saintly and revered grandfather, and his nishmasai should have an aliyah began Eden. I would like to discuss now a very important question, and that is there's this very challenging concept when it comes to Tisha B'Av. In the 15th pasuk in Eicha, it says, Kara olai moed lishbar bachurai. He proclaimed a moed. Moed? What kind of cruel yomtiv is Tisha B'Av? It's a yomtiv? What kind of yomtiv is it? Say, well, maybe it's just an appointed time, a set time. It's not really a yomtiv. No, it's a yomtiv. We don't say Tachnun on Tisha B'Av, the Shulchan Aruch says. We don't even say Tachnun Erev Tisha B'Av by Mincha, because it's really a yomtiv. In fact, Beis Yosef brings down from Rabbeinu Yaakov Sagan Levia, quoted on page 361, The Darkness and the Dawn, that when someone passed away on Tisha B'Av, they didn't allow the recitation of Tzedek Hadin, because Tisha B'Av is actually a yomtiv. How is Tisha B'Av a yomtiv? Actually, Tisha B'Av is the most horrific day on our calendar. Yirmiyahu Hanavi cursed the day of Tisha B'Av. Chazal tell us that, if we were to consider those who suffered horrific, torturous, painful deaths, Yeshua Melech would be at the top of the list. He was a righteous king who went to war with Paro Nechai. And Paro Nechai was heading to the north of Eretz Yisrael, and he requested passageway through Eretz Yisrael, and Yoshua erroneously believed the Jewish people were righteous, so he cannot even allow nations to travel through Eretz Yisrael, because Yoshua felt that we had totally eradicated Avodah Zarah, so he relied on the promise of the Torah that no foreign enemy would be able to gain entry. But actually, historically, it's very interesting. In Rabbi Yehuda Landy's book, Uncovering Sefer Yirmiyahu, he brings that archaeologists have found that he was not headed to the north to attack Assyria, but rather to bolster Assyria in their battle with Babylonia, because Parnachel preferred to have a weak Assyria in the region than to have a powerful and up-and-coming Babylonian empire. Anyway, Yoshua refused, and Yoshua goes out to war against Parnachel, and as we say in Kinos, Tzaduhu, V'samuhu, Kimatara lachitzim, Vayizriku bay, Shalosh meos chitzim. They shot and they pierced the holy body of Yoshua HaMelech with 300 arrows. It's almost impossible to fathom the grotesque death of Yoshua HaMelech in light of the fact that God promised Yoshua HaMelech that he would die in peace. Peace. Look in Malachim Beis, Parag Chaf Beis, Pasuk Chaf. Lachein hineni oisivcha alaveisecha v'ne'asafta el kivreisecha b'shalom. You'll die in peace. How did Yoshua die in peace? He died the most grotesque, gruesome death in the history of man. Says Masechta Moed Katan. In fact, Yoshua died in peace because he did not have to witness the Churban Beis Hamikdash, and that's peace, despite the fact that he was brutally murdered. Our Rosh Hashiva of Henoch Leibowitz, Zecher Tzadik Bracha, points out that the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash was so devastating that relative to it, being pierced like target practice is considered paradise relative to having to witness the Churban. So how exactly is Tisha B'Av a Yom Tif? What kind of cruel Yom Tif is this? And I always like to go back to the stories about my grandfather. My grandfather writes, from Radom, we were transported to Dachau. By the way, my grandfather said in Dachau every day he believed Mashiach was coming imminently. Dachau was the Emek Habacha, the valley of weeping of the Germans, Malach Hamaves, killings every day, total humiliation in the eyes of the Germans who derive the greatest pleasure and joy from torturing the Jewish people. My dear brother Henoch and I were kicked and chased to the crematorium. At the doorstep of the Beis HaSreifa, the house of burning, where tens of thousands were choking in the most shocking convulsions. My brother turns to my Zayda, my grandfather's brother, turns to him and says, Martcha, I need some water, I'm going to die of choking before I get in. And my grandfather told him, no, it's better without water, so that death will relieve us of our trouble sooner. My grandfather writes, we were inches and moments from the next world, but a heavenly miracle occurred. Standing at the threshold of death, an SS officer appeared. He grabbed us. He remarked in a commanding voice, you're capable of work. And he dragged us away. This godly wonder will remain in our memories forever. Rebbeinu Shalom was standing at the threshold of the crematoria, and he miraculously yanked my grandfather out. But then a very simple thought occurred to me. It wasn't only my grandfather that the Rebbeinu Shalom saved from the gas chamber. Because had the Rebbeinu Shalom not saved him, he would not be here. I would not be here today. I would not be. The Rebbeinu Shalom rescued my grandfather from the crematoria. He rescued my father. He rescued me. He rescued my children. And you know what? If the Rebbeinu Shalom rescued us, he must have wanted us. And if you are listening to this shiur tonight, the Rebbeinu Shalom wanted you. Do you know how long God has been looking out for you? People say, if only I would see a miracle, that would really boost my belief. That would really fortify my emunah. If I could only see the splitting of the sea. You want to see a miracle? Look at your friend in shul. Look at your family. Look at the face of another yid. The greatest miracle you'll ever see is the face of another Jew. You know, 3,300 years ago, our ancestors were in Egypt. 80% of the Jewish people perished. But the Rebbeinu Shalom preserved your direct ancestors so that you could be here today. The destruction of the first Beis HaMikdash, the death toll was enormous. But the Rebbeinu Shalom saved your ancestors so that you could still be here. Bayesheni, The death toll was staggering. Josephus writes that those who were murdered by the Romans, 1.1 million, and the Romans hunted down every last Jew they could get a hand of. But the Rebbe Shalom saved your ancestors so that you would be able to be here today. 1391, 200,000 Jews were forcibly converted in Spain. 300,000 Jews expelled in 1492. Tens of thousands killed. Chmielnicki pogroms. The Rebbe Shalom spared you. He's been looking out for you for 3,300 years. For a Jew to be here today, it's not statistically unlikely. It's not highly improbable. It's downright impossible. It's an open miracle of the highest proportions. Says Rabbi Yaakov Emden in the introduction to his Siddur. Ve'eich lo yevoish hakoifer b'hashgacha v'yamoid nichlam. How can the heretic, in God's providence, not be utterly ashamed? Misha ya'ayin beyichud in yanenu u'mamadenu ba'olam, by analyzing our situation in this world. Anachnu ha'uma, we, the nation hagoyla, exiled, sep pizura, the scattered sheep. After everything that has transpired to us, over thousands of years. Says Rabbi Yaakov Emden, who by the way the Chassam Sofer calls a Navi, Chai nafshi, I swear, ki b'hisboineni b'nefloi seila, when I think about these words, Gadloi etzli yoiser, they're greater to me. Mikal nisim v'nefloi sha'asa Hashem yisbarach la v'yiseinu b'Mitzrayim. From all the miracles that God brought to our forefathers in Egypt. And if this is what the Rabbi Yaakov Emden is so astonished by the miracle of the Jew in the 18th century, what do you think he would say if he saw a Jew post-Holocaust in 2022? He might say, it's a nes she'en kol malach u'beria yecholim l'sha'im. And think about it. The Rebbe Shalom did it for you because he wants your tefillah, your Torah, your mitzvahs, and your masim tovim. You know, we read on the Tainas Tzibor, Hinei anoichi kaireis bris neged kol amecha esen nifla'is asher lo nivru v'chal ha'aretz v'chal ha'goyim v'ra'achal ha'am. God says, I'm going to make a covenant that I'm going to perform miracles with you that were never seen before in the entire history of the world. And the Ramban wonders, what is this talking about? God's not going to make miracles for us that surpass the miracles of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Nothing like that. Nothing of that caliber ever occurred. Miracles greater than Yetzias Mitzrayim. Comes Reb Shach. And Reb Shach says that in fact, the miracle that the Torah is referring to is indeed a miracle that will surpass the miracles of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Namely, the miracle of Jewish survival, the miracle of the eternity of the Jewish people, the miracle of Netzach Yisrael Lo Yishaker. And if we could be so bold as to suggest that if Pesach is a Yom Tif and a Moed that celebrates the Exodus, and if Shavuos is a Yom Tif that celebrates the miracle of the giving of the Torah, and if Sukkot is a Yom Tif that celebrates the miracle of the Ananei HaKavod, then indeed Tisha B'Av is a Moed that commemorates and celebrates a much greater miracle, a miracle greater than the Exodus, a miracle greater than the Ananei HaKavod, a miracle greater than any miracle we ever experienced. Tisha B'Av is the Moed, the Yom Tif that commemorates and celebrates the miracle of Jewish eternity. And as the years pass, the Tisha B'Av becomes a greater Yom Tif because it's commemorating a greater miracle. Because the Tisha B'Av that your great-grandparents experienced perhaps before the Holocaust was a small Yom Tif compared to a Tisha B'Av that we commemorate after the Holocaust. So in this sense, Tisha B'Av indeed commemorates a miracle. So I want to take a brief interval. I was asked by the host of tonight's event, Chickens for Shabbos, to humbly request that if you're enjoying this presentation, please go to the Ad Eliezer site and hit the icon for Melamdim, Agunis, and Grushais, whatever you could do to support Chickens for Shabbos. It would be greatly appreciated. Again, if anybody wants the Sefer, The Darkness and the Dawn, please go to the ArtScroll site, artscroll.com, and you can put in the promo code Dawn Free and get the Darkness and the Dawn to your home before Tisha B'Av. I believe that this will really enhance your Tisha B'Av. Now, I would like to share another thought. There's another element of consolation and redeeming quality in Tisha B'Av. Remember the Gemara Makos that Rabbi Akiva saw the celebration and the revelry in Rome, and all the other Chachamim were crying, and Rabbi Akiva laughed. They said, Rabbi Akiva, the Romans are celebrating, they're pompously, arrogantly declaring their power. Why are you smiling? Why are you laughing? Rabbi Akiva said, because let's just make a simple a fortiori argument, a simple kavachomer. If this is the joy and the happiness and the celebration of those who violate the will of God, to those who perform His will, all the more so. If this is the success and the grandeur of Rome, who destroyed our temple, who God detests, imagine how much grandeur and glory the Rebbeinu Shalom will give the Jewish people. This is an argument and a perspective that I've seen the Chida uses in a very interesting context. A number of times I've had the privilege to go to speak in England and to go to the Tower of London and to see the Queen's jewels. And one of the reasons I went there is I knew the Chida went there. And in the Chida, in his entry, where he describes his visit to the Tower of London and all the different creatures and torture chambers that he saw, he talks about the crowns and the jewels of the king and the queen. The Avnei Nezer Misnoiseses. And the Chida writes one line, Im la'ovrei ritzaynoi kach, la'oisei ritzaynoi lo'koshekin. If this is the grandeur, the riches that are given to those who violate the will of Hashem, imagine how much glory and riches and happiness Rebbe Hashem will give Yerushalayim. Let's use a simple, and by the way, believe me, I'm having this in mind. We're going to be visiting the palace in Versailles tomorrow, so this is the perspective that I would like to go with. And I would like to apply this to Tisha B'Av as well. In the Haftarah Parshas Noach, which is also one of the Haftarahs of the Shiva Nechemta, we say as follows. Berega kotoin azavtich overachamim gedolim akabitzech. For but a brief moment have I forsaken you, but with abundant mercy I will gather you in. B'shetzev katzef histarti fanai rega mimech uvechesed olam richamtich amar goy alech Hashem. With a small wrath have I concealed my countenance from you for a moment, but with eternal kindness shall I show you mercy, says your Redeemer Hashem. Yeshaya Hanavi is telling us that if we wanted to capture all the disaster and tragedy that has ever befallen the Jewish people, it would be collectively classified as rega, a moment. The sum total of Jewish tragedy is merely a moment. But if we were to contrast that with the simcha and bracha of the Yemais HaMashiach, that would be rachamim gedolim. 2,000 years of exile, histarti panei rega mimech, I'm just hiding my face for a moment. But the final redemption, relatively, uvechesed olam, it's eternal kindness. So the ultimate redemption is rachamim gedolim. It's majestic, it's great. It's magnitude, it's eternal. The galus is a fleeting second. So if you were to let's extrapolate a little bit. Let's use the following formula. If crusades, pogroms, Inquisition, Holocaust is classified as a rega, and we know how severe and we know the magnitude of these tragedies, and yet, relative to the happiness of La'asad Lavai, it's a rega. Histarti fanei rega mimech. Then let's extrapolate the intense, powerful, eternal happiness that is in store for the Jewish people must be incredible, must be beyond fathom. We have no barometer to measure the magnitude of the Achros. You know, we have a small barometer. The barometer is Tisha B'Av. If the entire Tisha B'Av and all the tragedies that it commemorates is only Rega, if Tisha B'Av is commemorating a Rega of tragedy, then we could glean from Tisha B'Av what the happiness of the afterlife must look like, what the happiness of the end of days must look like. Similar to what Rav Sadia Gaon says. You know, all the miracles of Mitzrayim, 10, 50, 200, 250, all those miracles God predicted only in 2 words. Done, Anochi. 2 words God said. And in those 2 words, hundreds of miracles. And with how many words did God say? There's going to be a Yemais HaMashiach and a Nechama for the Jewish people through the Navi Yeshaya, through the Navi Yirmiyah, through the Navi Yechezkel, hundreds and hundreds, and if not thousands of words. So if 2 words, Dan Anochi, produced so many miracles, how many nisim, how much bracha, how much simcha, how much happy times await the Jewish people. They're coming attractions in store for the Jewish people. And that's the idea of Shabbos Nachamu. From Tisha B'Av we could glean how much nechama is in store for us. From Tisha B'Av we could glean how much happiness is in store for us. Tisha B'Av, in a sense, is a Yom Tif. It's a Yom Tif commemorating the greatest miracle of all, the Yom Tif of the eternity of the Jewish people. And while we don't celebrate on Tisha B'Av proper, the Shabbos after Tisha B'Av is Shabbos Nachamu. It's a Shabbos that we commemorate and celebrate, that we've survived, we've come through, we've emerged from the dark times, but we are a eternal people. We are a miraculous people. You know, King Louis once asked Pascal, show me evidence of the supernatural. Prove to me the supernatural. And Pascal said to King Louis, why the Jews, Your Majesty? Why the Jews? We are miraculous people. We are each a miracle. We are each the greatest miracle you will ever see. You know, we always think if we would see the splitting of the sea, then we would really appreciate the hand of God. We would really see divine providence. Just the opposite. Our ancestors who saw the miracles in Egypt, they saw nothing compared to the real miracle that we see. And that is the continuous divine intervention, protecting the Jewish people, guiding the Jewish people till the end of days when we will see the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu. So, we thank everybody who participated in tonight's event. Thank you, everybody. This is just a taste and a flavor from the book, The Darkness and the Dawn. Again, go to the ArtScroll site, artscroll.com, put in the promo code DawnFree, and you could get this book with free shipping. We have chapters on Shabbos Nachamu. What is the consolation of Shabbos Nachamu? Oh, console. Yeah, what's the consolation? Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshitz, we're headed to the city of Metz, to the city of Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshitz. The consolation is, Ami, that you are my people, and you're still my people, and you're still around, and you have the opportunity to serve me. We have many, many beautiful ideas. We have the idea that the Ched HaMeraglim, which is that they cried B'chia Shel Chinam. It's V'dimasa Alechaya. We're still crying that same cry. We're still not connected to Eretz Yisrael. And there are many important and meaningful ideas that would be beneficial to connect with before the Yom Tif of Tisha B'Av. So thank you again, Chazak, Rav Ilan Meirav, Rav Yaniv Meirav, Rabbi Eboff, for orchestrating tonight's event. Thank you very much. Please show your support to Chazak. Thank you, Chickens for Shabbos, for hosting and sponsoring tonight's event. Go to the Yad Eliezer site, and you could go to our site, rabbidg.com or artscroll.com, order this book, free shipping, Darkness and the Dawn, promo code DawnFree. Wishing everyone a easy Tainus and we should be zoiche to see the transformation of this time of the year. Tzoim haravi, tzoim hachamishi, tzoim hashvi, tzoim ha'asiri, yeh lebeis Yehuda, l'saseinu l'simcha, u'l'mayadim toivim, v'ha'emes, v'ha'shalom ehavu. Wishing everyone tzoim kal. Thank you so much. Bracha v'hatzlacha. We should be zoiche to the Bias Goyal Tzedek, b'mher v'yameinu. Amen.
Rabbi Glatstein, for your tremendous remarks this evening on the amazing book, The Darkness and the Dawn, which could be purchased right now at artscroll.com or rabbidg.com. Make sure to use the promo code DAWNFREE, DAWANFREE, for free shipping. Again, artscroll.com or rabbidg.com. Make sure to use the promo code for free shipping. Use the promo code DAWNFREE, DAWANFREE. And we want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. This was presented by the Chazak organization, Chickens for Shabbos. As the Chazak organization organizes amazing shiur and events in person and virtually. If someone would be interested to sponsor a future Chazak shiur event in person or virtually in memory of a loved one, of a yard site, dedicated for Fuah Shlema, reach out to Chazak at events@chazak.org. That is spelled EVENTS@CHAZAQ.org. Chazak's main mission to help Jewish public school students educate them about the beauty of Yiddishkeit, of Judaism, through after school and Sunday school programs in over 15 locations, and with the ultimate goal of hopefully helping them transfer to yeshiva. In the last 5 years, Chazak has helped transfer over 1,200 children from public school to yeshiva. And if anyone knows who has children in public school like to transfer to yeshiva or would like an after-school program in their community, or they could attend one of the Chazak's after-school programs, reach out to Chazak at psty@chazak.org. That's spelled psty@chazaq.org. Everyone's reminded to support the great work of Chickens for Shabbos, which is a tremendous organization which helps feed the families of agunos, whom can't get divorced, grushos, divorcees, as malam, teachers of Torah like Rabbi. And everyone should support them right now. It'll be a tremendous chus, a tremendous mitzvah, and there'll be a great merit for you and your family. Support right now at chickensforshabbos.com. Chickensforshabbos.com. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening and have a great night.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.